Hello, what is up in the Facebook world? This is Coach Janelle CPA here after I put the kids to sleep, so I'm able to come to you and serve you. I know I really should do these like earlier, but thank God for the time I am able to serve via Facebook Live. Y'all have been really awesome. I've even received some encouraging messages from people just saying that how some of the things that I said has encouraged them and helped them. So I'm here. It's late, but you know what? I have to be consistent, right? Because I believe in a process of sowing and reaping, right? It's just an old, farming practice that's like everyone does, right? And so I think because for me that sometimes, and I can speak for myself, is the fact that sometimes I can do something and I can do something really well, right? Or I have to wait for everything to be perfect. And then that's when I'll start moving. Hey, what's up, Belisa? And so, like, I'll do it, and then, where'd I go, right? I'll do something great. I'll reap the reward like that one time, but I'm just thinking about how farmers, when they sow seeds, like they continue and they sow multiple seeds, right? And of course, I'm going to bring a passage in the Bible, right? Where we talk about the parable of the sower, right? And he sowed seeds, and he was sowing seeds everywhere, right? So whatever your gifting is, I know I was talking about your gifting and your purpose. You have to know that you have to sow your gifts, sow your seeds, right? Because the thing is that once you sow your gift, you're going to sow them everywhere. And just know that not everybody is going to receive you. Some people may receive your word with joy, but the next thing you know, something came up and they're not able to. But here's one thing that I will say when you're in a season of sowing is that you can't really give up, right? I know sometimes it does get hard. I will say for me to step outside of my comfort zone and come live, right? And come live, it is definitely stepping outside of my comfort zone. But since I made a commitment and said that I would be live, listen, I am doing this because I know that there's a harvest on the other side. And so I was looking at the process of sowing and reaping and what farmers go through. And one of the first processes that we think of is like, hey, you just sow seed, right? But I noticed that one of the first processes is the fact that farmers prepare the land first. Because you want to make sure that the environment and where you are sowing the seed is in the right place. Oh, thank you so much. Is in the right place. You don't want to just, if I went ahead and put a seed on top of this table that I'm doing this Facebook Live on, or on my carpet, or in my house, and said, oh, I wish this seed would grow. Hey, Chantel. Thanks, Felisa. I wish this seed would grow. Hey, listen, it's probably not going to grow, like by a long shot, right? And so you have to make sure that when you're doing this, you have to prepare the land. That means you have to go through a state of preparation and making sure that the environment is just right. And here's one thing too, because I don't know if any of you are like perfectionists out there. I am, even though I'm by far not perfect, but I'm one of those people that I have to see it like every step of the way before like I do anything. But I recognize that when a farmer sows seeds, that not all the seeds that he plants are gonna grow, and even if they do grow, they're not gonna all grow perfectly, right? It's not gonna just be if a farmer's planting strawberries, and let me know, correct me if you grow strawberries. they're not gonna all be perfect, right? You buy them at the store. Hey, what's up, hubby? You buy them at the store, but just know that you just got to keep on sowing, keep on sowing, keep on sowing. And so just know to prepare the environment. The second thing that I've noticed is that then they sow the seed, right? Because if you don't know where you're sowing your seed, then you won't know where to get the harvest from, right? You won't know whether or not if the environment is right for that seed. So just be mindful of when you're sowing your gifting. Hey, listen, is the environment right? And even if you don't get it right, that's okay. That's when you got to sow multiple and multiple seeds, right? The next process that I was looking at, let me look at my notes. I was looking at some notes, is the fact that farmers use irrigation and fertilization. That's basically the food and water for the plants. Hey, what's up, Michelle? The food and water for the plants that are being grown, right? And just know that just because you sow the seed and the plant is growing, so you're like, hey, I got a breakthrough, right? And God may work a miracle in your life, or a miracle may happen because, hey, listen, you sown the seed and boom, a breakthrough happens. That it goes through the germination and it starts growing and it starts popping up off the ground and you start celebrating. However, your care does not stop there. Meaning that just because, yes, you've sown the seed, that you just leave it alone, right? You don't, like a farmer is not just going to sow a seed and just be like, all right, I'm gone, and never come back again to check on it. What the farmer is going to do, and I just encourage you, is to make sure that you're watching what's being grown, right? And you're making sure the environment's right, because we talk about preparing the land. We talk about fertilization. You want to continue feeding what you are expecting to see, right? You have to continue to feed and water what you are expecting to see. So if you are expecting to see more abundance, more wealth, then you have to feed it, right? You have to water it. You have to make sure that you give it life. And so if I want to bring it into practical terms, how am I giving it life? How am I making sure that I am watering the seed and having it grow? Well, one of the things is through your mouth, right? So, you know, life and death is in the power of your tongue. So you need to make sure that even know that what you've sown is starting to grow, that you need to continue to speak life. You need to continue to water it. You need to continue to feed it so that it can grow. Because guess what? Not only is the seed that you sown and a fruit is growing, but guess what's growing around it? You have weeds growing around it. You have other things that aren't good for the plants. You have bugs that are flying on it. You have birds that are trying to come and eat the fruit that you've grown, right? So you have to make sure to protect that environment, because guess what? Your seed, even though you've sown it, it isn't the only thing that's growing. There's other things that are coming out to take what you've planted, and you have to be a good steward, a good manager, and make sure that you protect that from being taken away, basically. So fertilization, irrigation, and then another thing is I guess the last part is the harvest, right? And again, whenever we talk about the harvest, you want to make sure that basically that your harvest is enough. And guess what? If you find out that it's not, because a lot of people, listen, the results that you have in your life is based on what you've invested, right? And so I know the topic that I have was what's one thing to invest in, and I want to talk about a story, right? Because I've been blessed to grow up around different people in my life, and there was this one lady. If y'all don't know, I am half Korean, and so we went to this one lady, and we called her in Korean. It's like Harmony's house, right? So Harmony means grandmother, and so we used to say, hey, listen, we're getting ready to go to Harmony's or grandmother's restaurant. She had a store, so we call her, yes, grandmother's store, right? She has long since passed away, but one thing that I've noticed with her is this woman knew 4 languages. You know, she was one of them old school, like, wise people. She knew Korean, Japanese, French, and English. She was one of those type of people, but she owned her own store, and she was always progressively thinking. Before she even passed away, here's one thing, because one thing that I'm going to touch on in the next couple of days is retirement. And one thing that I felt that she invested in is, yes, she invested into a building that her children use to this day to accrue money and rent, because because what she did is that she bought a building, or she made a building right by her store, and when she passed on, her kids were able to use it and rent it out to a daycare, and now they're just getting passive income from the daycare that's paying them rent that their mom paid the building for. So one of the things that I would say too that would be very important for you to invest in is more so than, hey, what's the stock that I need to invest in? Hey, what's the mutual fund? The best thing that she invested in was in her mind. And I know that's like, oh, duh, I wish I could have known that. But it's so important, because I can tell you, hey, listen, invest into real estate, invest into this. But if you don't invest into your mind, you're not going to be able to keep those things. Like you're not going to be able to have the mindset to actually be a good steward over those things that you've got, like that you're able to get. One hot topic, like I said, that I'm gonna continue to touch on is retirement, because it sort of does hurt my heart to see people who reach retirement age and they don't have enough in their savings to keep them going for years and years. Yes, they may get a little, like a retirement check, but it's not sufficient. So they have to go and they have to get another job. I've seen this day after day after day after day. And we're talking about big corporate people, right? We're talking about like people who worked in oil and gas, and they're sitting there working at a place so that they can get more income, so they can take care of their grandchildren. And that's just something that I don't like seeing. And one of the things, just by seeing people's wealth and just knowing people at different stages in their life and their ages, I think that one of the things, like I said, that's really even hurting, I feel like, this country or this generation, is the fact that we don't really see in the future as much. When we are using our current spending and getting more and more money, right? Because let's just agree, right? We will agree with this, is the fact that the salaries in this country is way more than they were back in the 40s, right? Back in the 50s, right? Back in decades and decades ago, that people are making more money. However, I feel like that with our retirement, that we won't have enough sufficient funds, that whenever we retire, whenever we get of age to retire and enjoy life, we won't have enough funds to sustain us until our older age. Because a lot of the times now we're more healthy, we'll live longer, and so the money is going to run out like before we die, basically. And so we didn't prepare for that because we're not forward thinking. And so I would encourage you, I guess I'll leave you with this, is the fact that you want to start looking at, what can I invest in? And what is an investment? It's not something that you spend and you never see again. An investment is something that you intentionally sow so that you can get something back in return. That is so important. Investing is different from just spending, right? Because spending is consumption. What happens when you consume something? It's gone, right? When you spend the money, it's consumed, it's gone. You don't look at it. I mean, it's not there anymore. But when you invest into something, hey, LaQuisha, what's up? What's up, Michelle? What's up, Lakina? Oh my gosh. So when you invest into something, you know that you're going to get a return back. So I guess my hope and my prayer is that you start thinking about the future, because you don't want to get to the future. Because think about it, I'm in my 30s. 20 years later, I don't want to sit there and still be scrambling and figuring out what I want to do with my money. I'm still trying to scramble to get things right. You don't want to be in that place. So you have to look at what areas that you can get multiple streams of income. Because I will tell you this, is that working, if you're only working, that may be one of the, I won't say one of the, but there are more multiple ways that you can get streams coming in. So yes, so good. We need to understand the power of investing for our future. That is so, so true. So we have to think beyond the now and look into the next and look into the future. It says, like, what can be something to invest in? That is a good question. Hey, it's different for everybody. Money is a tool. That is so true. It's different for everybody. One of the things that I would, and this may be a super spiritual answer, right? But I would really sit there and pray, because it's different for different people. I know some people, they don't mind investing into real estate. I know some people, the very basic, I would say, is to invest into an IRA, right? Or invest into something that's going to bring you passive income. Yes, multiple streams of income, multiple avenues of investment. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And so the thing is that God will give you ideas. And I'm not telling you that, and I know some people don't have the dreams to become a multimillionaire and own a Fortune 500 company, right? But you're a person that's working, you have a good career, and you're saying, okay, what's next? The main thing that I would do is just start thinking in that capacity, and God will really give you ideas. I mean, he'll even give you ideas of real estate, network marketing. I know, Lakina, she is awesome. She does like e-commerce, so she sells items online, and I'm telling you, she doesn't even have to ship them from her house. Like, she has other people ship them, and guess what? She gets to get that profit. And so the thing is that I would ask that you search, right? It says seek and you shall find. And so once you do that, you start investing into yourself and start looking at yourself, e-commerce, yes, and start seeing yourself as with more value. Here's something that T.D. Jakes said that just rocked my mind. He says a job can tell you how much they can pay you, but they can't tell you how much that you can make. And so what he was saying with that is the fact that, yes, even though this job may be paying me $50,000, $60,000, or even six figures, right? The job is paying me $100,000, but they can't tell me how much I can make from other avenues. Like, they can't tell me. And here's another thing. Jim Rohn, he says this. He says that your philosophy determines your income, right? Your philosophy determines your income. It is not the economy. And so here's one thing, is that even though the economy can be good, can be bad, whatever is happening with the economy, and you think about all the millionaires and you think about all the billionaires, they may have been hit. And here's something that I've noticed. They may have been hit. Their money may have dropped. But guess what? It grew right back up. And I think about a tree. I think about a tree today because, I don't know, in Oklahoma, the weather was crazy. Like, trees where wind was blowing and some of the branches, fell off of trees. But once I think about it, even though the tree may have had wind and may have had all the weather hitting it and the branches may have fell out, the root was still there, right? The root didn't move. The trunk basically didn't move. And so you have to have a sure foundation with your mind and with your finances, and that you have a wealth mindset. So whenever the winds of life, so whenever things hit you, the economy may hit, and or something may go up. I know Bitcoin was way up to 15,000. I think it's dropped. I don't know where it's at right now, but whatever you invest in, that you don't have a failure mindset to where you automatically attack the outer things, right? Because you have to think about it. You have to be like that tree that's planted and that you still have your trunk. And guess what? You can grow new branches. So that's the difference with the wealth mindset and someone who doesn't have a wealth mindset, is the fact that, yes, you may sling me to the side. You may, cut off all my branches, but guess what? I'm still here. I am still here. I have a foundation. I still have my trunk. I'm still rooted in this thing. And so as you begin to invest into that one place, and I will say that one place is yourself, because guess what? Things may come, the economy may change, your bank can be wiped clean, but guess what? If you have the right mentality because you invested into yourself, then guess what? You're not going to go away. If you're still living, you're still going to have the mindset to say, okay, what can I do to bring in some money? What's the fastest path to cash? I've seen even a millionaire, one of my millionaire mentors, who said that, listen, almost lost all of it, but guess what? He had a wealth mindset, and it was like I wouldn't say it was like in no time, but he was able to build his business back up. He was able to build his money back up. And so the one place to invest in, and a lot of people will think, what can I invest in? Into stock, into fast money, fast money, fast money. Hey, listen, it is in yourself. It is in yourself. It is knowing your value and raising your value up. Let me ask you all a question before I get off. How many of you remember your first job? I asked this a while ago. Very first job, your very first job. If I know someone that was picking cotton and stuff. They were seasoned in their years. For me, I was a cashier at a donut shop, and I was getting paid. I think I was a baller, right? $6.50, right? That was above minimum wage. Yes, you do. That's awesome. So thanks, Shirley, for watching. And so, would you, right now, if that job, if the donut shop called you, or called whatever your first job called you and said, hey, listen, whatever your first wage is, hey, McDonald's, right? If they called you and said, hey, listen, we got this awesome job for you right now. Hey, if you want to come and work at McDonald's, hey, we're going to give you $5.15 or $4.25 or whatever the minimum wage is. Would you accept that job? I'll wait. Nobody, right? Your first job. Why would you not go back to the very first job, the wage of the very first job that you have? Nope. I've seen a lot of people say no, right? Because your value increased, right? You know, right now, I serve as an accounting professor. There's no way if the donut shop called and said, hey, listen, we got a job for you at $6 an hour. Hey, will you come and work for us? No, not at all, right? So you have to look at, when you invest into yourself, you're adding value to yourself. And that's the first place that I would start, is investing into yourself. And that is one thing that I know that the famous book, Richest Man in Babylon, right, is investing into yourself. So you're looking to increase, right? We're always, because God made us to be people, or basically creatures of full expression. Like our spirit within us wants to fully express itself, right? God created us this way. He didn't create us to be in a shrunken state and, oh no, I'm not going to show up. But he created us to be in an expressive state. He created us to express who we are, to be in full expression. So it's up to us to expand. And hey, listen, if you're at the point, listen, hey, if you're at the point to where you are, you know, making minimum wage, that is fine. Just know that you don't have to stay there. Everyone starts somewhere, and no matter where you are in a process, that's one thing that I make sure I don't do is people who are starting out, or people who haven't even captured the mind of multiple streams of income. I don't sit there and I don't look at them as anything less, because I don't know where they're going to be in 2 years. I don't know if something's going to click for the admin or the secretary or somebody, and if you were being rude to the waitress and 6 months later they're a millionaire or something like that, you just don't know who you're talking to. Because number one, God has placed purpose. God has placed so much value in everyone. And whenever someone realizes it or recognizes it within themselves, then guess what? It's all over. It is all over from there, right? So true. We all start somewhere, and we can transform to our fullest potential. So just know that, yes, you can live up to your fullest potential, that it does not, like where you are right now is not where you have to die at, right? Where you are right now is not like, just because, like for me, like reaching to this income was like, oh yeah, that's like the greatest. But then you recognize that there's other things that are so much valuable in your life, such as time, your kids, your family. And so you start weighing in that and saying, hey, listen, I need to increase my value. So my prayer for you is that you recognize your value and that you continue to invest into yourself. Because guess what? If you don't continue to invest in yourself, then what happens? You don't really you don't really respect yourself like you should. So you're going to sit there and accept whatever comes your way on your job, right? I like right now I would say that I have my dream job. I love what I do, right? I love to teach, but just know that there's more, that there is so much more, and that there's other people that are living to their fullest potential. So I just say, hey, listen. So you're probably asking, hey, listen, how do I live up to my fullest potential? Hey, listen, continue to get knowledge. Continue to listen to things that will edify you and help you realize your value. Because guess what? It is nothing but growth. So just because you feel like you reached this level, even the millionaires and billionaires, there's something more that they do, right? A lot of them are big philanthropists, meaning that they give a lot. They give so much more. And guess what? The more that you have, the more you can give. And so if it's your desire to give, then I would say, hey, listen, start feeding yourself knowledge. Start just like I said, just invest into yourself so that you can just reap the harvest, right? And make sure that you protect your mind. Make sure that you protect yourself from the things that will try to pull you back down to where your safety zone is, to where your comfort zone is. And so I just encourage you, yes, work smarter, not harder. And so guess what? The owners of companies, right? There was a quote that I read that said, hey, listen, business owners, some of them don't have college degrees, but guess what? They hire people with college degrees to work for them. So you can either be someone else's lever, basically, meaning that they leverage on your gifts and talents, or you can be the person that can leverage other people's talents and gifts. And so it is definitely up to you. But I would say for you that you can leverage on your gifts and talents and know that you can bring multiple streams of income from north, south, east, and west to come and bring funds to you, right? So again, the best example that I would give is that the fact that none of you to this day, some of you might, and it's okay, but none of you will accept the first paying job that you received when you were a teenager, okay? And if you are a teenager, hey, in 10 years from now, I know you won't be working for the same wage that you were, like right now. And so even right now, so what standards are you going to give yourself? What value are you going to give yourself? The reason why some people are making more money than you is because they have higher standards than you. I know it is, I hate to, that sounded pretty rough. I even felt that one. I'm sort of like, no, I didn't. Like, I'm saying that to myself. That the reason why, thank you so much, the reason why that more people are making money than you is because they have higher standards. And I'm saying that because I'm like, crap, yeah, that sucks. So, to end on a good note, continue to invest into yourself and just see where God can take you. Because again, you have not reached to your fullest potential. Again, I think about the grandmother with the store. She kept on investing. I just felt like she invested into herself because she kept on going and going and going and going. And so I have so much to talk about, but I'll see you again. And again, it's been a pleasure serving you all. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to message me. I already got some messages, and I am doing 90 days of serving and serving in alignment with my gifting. And so, yes, I just say live out loud, live out to your fullest potential. Thank y'all so much for participating. Y'all have a good night. Thanks a lot.